when you become aware of the repetition of it, you can stop it and just say, okay, I need to just create a wee bit of space, a wee bit of distance for myself, and say, what is it about this repeating pattern is due to something I'm avoiding in myself, right? Then see what comes up.
Debz is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
Hey, 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 welcome Moira, welcome listeners to today.
Thank you.
And today's goodie.
It's a goodie. Oh.
Oh, today's a goodie. Now look, if people actually think we say that every time, we do.
We do.
I don't think it's going to be any different. It's because we've got some damn great goodie topics. But before we tell you what it is, even though you can read it, because just in case you can't read and you're only listening, well, I'm going to ask everybody to rate themselves on a scale of 0 to 10. So 10 being, and I describe it rocking in the corner, sucking your thumb, which is probably not the best way to describe it, but I can totally visualize that.
It gives a good image. Yeah.
we know those 10s. And then 0 being completely neutral, in a state of zen, balanced.
Blissed out.
So there's two things. What we're going to do is we're actually going to go where we're at now. I'm going to ask Moira. Moira's like, okay. And what do you think about the topic?
Aha.
So, Moira, what is your number? I know she's not a 10, just for the record, because we have already talked for over an hour. She might have been a 9 when we first started talking. No,
you might have known.
So, Moira, what number are you at now? Oh, shoot, I've got to think of my number. Okay, what number are you now?
You'll be there next. So, like you say, we've been chit-chatting for quite a while. I would have been higher, I think, when we first started. We always zen each other out, right? I'm going to put myself at a 3.
Yeah.
I'm going to put myself at a 3.
Oh, nice. And
and then for the topic, so that's where I am at with me. But the topic, I love talking about the topic, so I'm going to put myself at I'm going to say 0, but maybe it's a 0.5, so somewhere in there.
Yeah, I'd like to. This topic is one that's going to blow us away. So so can we say a -1? Yeah, higher than a 0. Yeah, okay, 0.5. Yeah, I'd say that with the topic too. And I actually wrote down a 4 for my number, even though it was probably a 3. I was thinking it's a 3 or a 4, and I'm like a 3.5, and I went, no, I'm going to write 4. So I actually wrote it down before Moira even opened her mouth, because I thought how all of a sudden we're the same. But prior to us talking, I would probably say I was not far off that, probably a 5, maybe-ish, 5.5. But we do get ourselves back from where we were, and we go, oh, I've got this to do and this to do, and we have a great, we solve the universe before we even get on
Exactly.
these calls.
Exactly. That's just how we roll.
That's just, happens every time.
Yep.
So today's call podcast. Oh yeah, we're from Deliciously Motivated Mindset with Debz and Moira. That's who we are. You haven't already guessed. Yeah, that's it. So today is karma. What is karma, and how does it affect my life, your life, our lives, and oh, yes, 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 yes. So I'm handing this one over to Moira. What is karma? Let's break this down. What is karma, and then how does it affect our lives? There's two sections there. So what is karma?
Good question.
In your mind?
In my mind. So in my mind, I think that it's in my mind, it's actually something that's very misunderstood, because it, how many times do you hear people say, you see somebody having a bad experience or something falls apart on them, and it's like, oh, that's just karma. You must have done something bad before, or so it's always seen as a paying the price for something and getting stuck in a
Negative.
Yeah, it's a negative thing, but I see it as like the big hamster wheel, the karma cycle, being stuck on this big hamster wheel. But here's the thing, one of the trainings that I did, I studied Ayurvedic astrology, and that's to
Of course
help.
You did.
Of course I did. But that was to help me help people see what their dharma is. And so dharma is your soul's calling. It's what you as a soul want to experience. And so the key piece and the big teaching of this mindset is that if you want to get off that karmic cycle, you have to align with your dharma. So that's why I'm saying it's a little bit, there's a couple of layers in here, so that if you do feel like you're stuck doing the same old thing over and over and over again, then it's time to align with what is your true soul's calling. Does that make sense, Deb?
Yeah, just so you know, let's right out now. Tell me all about Dharma. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Because this is all new to me. And so keep talking.
So this is what I'm saying, is that Dharma is, so I'll paint a wee picture here. So let's say as a soul, my Dharma is unconditional love. The theme of that is truth for many people. Or let's say it's truth, unconditional truth. As a soul, I am going to experience and perpetuate everything that is not truth, or everything that is not love, in order to come a full 360 degrees. You notice there's big cycles here, right? Until we come around to the full spectrum of everything. And then we as a soul, then we're complete. We've experienced everything that we set out to, and in order to do so, we have to experience everything that is not. That is what Dharma is that as souls, we sign up, we say, this is what I want to experience. And then we keep going through all the different situations and scenarios and relationships and opportunities and lost opportunities until we have it all. But here's where I feel like karma can get misunderstood, is that people forget that they are the driver of their experience. So if things don't feel right, if they don't make your heart sing, if they don't allow you to access your unique gifts, you don't have to buy into anything that is not truly yours.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and I think that's a perfect analogy. It's your story, your script.
Mm-hmm.
You can change it at any time.
Absolutely. That's what the whole free will part is, right?
Yeah, and I think people still struggle with that they say you manifest this, you created this, people still struggle with, well, what did I do? What script did I write in my story life to attract this in? Yeah. And for me, karma, and so for me is I've got that, I often don't actually think about karma. And people say, oh, yeah, like the karma. So it's like they haven't learned their lesson. So I was just thinking something before. They haven't learned their lesson, so it's going to come back and bite them. And it's something negative. Oh, that's their karma. But we never talk about, they won lotto, or they found money, or they all these amazing things. They don't go, that's karma. Karma's seen as oh, that's negative, the dog's going to bite you, that's that's karma for them biting someone else. That's why that happened, and it's a negative thing, whereas karma it doesn't have, it's not negative, it's just your life lesson.
Right. So karma is the learning, and dharma is the reason why you did it.
Yeah.
Right. So the two exist side by side. Well, dharma is the higher part. Dharma is the purpose, and it's the overriding reason. Whereas karma is all of the experiences that add up to what that dharma is.
And I think, and we talk about this, we've talked about this quite a lot in podcasts, is about the acknowledging. And the sooner you can see things is the sooner you can move out of that realm, that glitch, that wherever you're sitting, into the awareness. But as soon as and that's it, as soon as you can see that. But yeah, that's an interesting one. Well, listeners, I've never heard of dharma. I know the people who know me will go, I'm not surprised, Deborah. And I'm not surprised that Moira has heard of dharma and talks about dharma. But this is a real interesting one that's really made me think, because when people do something, and this is interesting, so when people do something to hurt us, and we take it personally, and we're like, karma will get them, they'll bite them in the bum, and it'll go round, it'll come round and it'll get them, and we want to see that person hurt, which is so not true, but we do at that moment because we are so hurt. We go, right, well, why can't karma come and hit them right now so I can see it? Like, why does it have to take 3 years and you find something's happened about them, or you don't even know what's happened about them? But the truth is, you don't really want to see them hurt. That's just your BS lopsided perception, and just send them love, and that's the easiest thing. And you don't need to, if you're thinking about that person 3 years down the track to see if karma has hit them, then clearly you haven't learned anything.
But it's then you that's paying the price if you've held on.
It's you that's holding on to that, holding on to that chapter in your book of life that you keep going back those pages. Yeah, and people do say, I just, 5 years ago so-and-so did this to me, and I just hope karma got them. And you're like, why? Why are you holding on to this 5 years ago? My God, seriously? 5 years ago? Let it go. Right. What, imagine the storage you've put into your mind and your soul.
But don't you think that scenarios like that are also indicative of people saying it's all about me?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's that victim.
To not understanding that we're all here together. It's that sort of sense of vindication or vengeance that kind of keeps that Velcro. Remember I've said that before.
Yeah, I use that quite.
Negativity has too much Velcro. But that's the same in what you were just saying about so often, karma came to get you. And no, it's really important for us to all realize, no, I'm the driver of my own life experience, nobody else's, and everybody else has their own gift, their own uniqueness, their own flavor, if you like. And we're here to unconditionally love and accept everybody's doing the best they can with what they have. And if you look at somebody and say, well, that wasn't good enough, that's actually an indication of you. And so then it's time to look inward, not be pointing the finger and say, well, you'll get your comeuppance, right?
Yeah, and we do reference karma as being such a negative thing, but it's interesting because I know someone who's in a relationship, and the relationship is very different to their past relationship, and the conversation has been, wow, this is amazing and so easy and real and simple compared to my past one. Maybe this is karma, maybe because I've done the time in the past and now this is real. But whether it's karma or what, it's actually you learnt your lessons, you know what you want now. You're sitting in your soul, your journey, and you're ready for whatever it is. It's not that you've done your time because you've had so many years in a shite relationship and now it's happening, but it's just, you just learned, you knew what you were ready for.
Yeah.
And you're ready for this time around. And I wouldn't label that as karma.
No. But in the grand scheme of things, it's the evolution of your soul. Right? But the other thing that just popped into my mind as you were saying that is that I think during these times, as we're coming into the end of 2020, theme of 2020
2020
was
has been a fun one.
but it's been about taking leadership. It's been the overriding theme for all of us. And so now, a conversation I had just the other day was that it was about encouraging us to up level, to step up, and to flow, finding the path of least resistance for all of us. And so that means taking things at a good pace and saying, do I want to? And really coming into, do I want to? Does that make my heart sing? Does that feel right? And if it doesn't, don't go there. Don't say yes to something that you kind of go, oh, I'm not quite sure, the sticky energy that feels like I have to push through, or I should do something.
That word should we love.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you said the word leadership. And when I hear the word leadership, I think of a leader who leads a lot of people. But actually, I would say this year, 2020, leadership is actually about leading yourself.
Absolutely.
And lead
from within. That's what I've been saying throughout this year. Just lead from within.
Yeah. So just from being a corporate background, when people say leadership, I go, oh, the CEO or the manager or whatever. But knowing that the receptionist is also just a leader, but it's actually a leadership of yourself, your own calling, your soul, your dharma.
Absolutely. And that's what I mean when I say be the driver of your own bus, be the commander of your own ship, be the ruler of who you are, because that's where we have our power. And so when we get caught up in the, oh, so-and-so did something bad or betrayed me or let me down, or no, they didn't. It's part of your story, your journey, your script. And so then it's that, and I may have told you this before about, Abraham Hicks, the work of Abraham Hicks. I love that stuff. But there's a quote somewhere that says, I've just figured out that my happiness is my responsibility, so you are off the hook.
That's a nice one.
Isn't that good?
Yeah, I've got my erectors with that. That's a nice one, actually, because that's exactly it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so simple, though.
Yeah,
that's a simple one, straight to the point. I like that.
But if you flipped it around, so I figured out that everything I experience in my life is my responsibility. So all y'all's right?
Yeah. Well, it is. It's your heart to fix. It's your heart to mend, nourish, look after, and the same with your soul, not anyone else's job. So when we talk about, we've got what is karma and how does it affect your life, how does karma, fingers in the air, quotation marks, fingers in the air, how does it affect your life?
It can be an indication of, are you stuck in a rut, and have you given ownership for your journey or your story somewhere else? And so to me, I think it can just be a wee tap on the shoulder, a wee nudge to say, pay attention. Are you flowing in the direction of least resistance? Are you following and walking to the beat of your own heart, right?
Yeah.
Or not? It's like,
are you avoiding? Are you hiding under the blanket? Are you dodging? Are you blaming others? Are you pointing the finger everywhere else? Or are you not taking accountability to you?
Yeah. I had a conversation with somebody this past weekend, and it was really interesting because she came to me with a whole bunch of problems and wanted some suggestions and ideas and strategies to move out of them. So I said, well, how about these breathing techniques? How about these affirmations? How about this kind of visualization? And absolutely everything that I said, she said, oh yeah, I know about that. Yep, I know about that. Mm-hmm. She knew about all of them. But
they're our favorite clients.
But the next part was, yes, she knew about them, but they're so hard. It's so hard.
Oh wow.
And by the maybe the fourth or fifth time she said, yeah, but that's so hard, I said, well, of course it is, because you're making it so.
Isn't this where you go, This one's going to be a harder one for you. Now, this one's going to be even harder. Now, this oh, yeah,
This
totally
one's
making it so
hard.
this one's going to be incredibly hard. You're going to need your boxing gloves. You're going to need your raincoat. You need a box of tissues. It's going to be one hell of a journey for you. Pick your hard. Yeah, what hard do you want?
But don't you find that, and you probably find that with client conversations too, is that people don't understand the power of their words, and their power of their words can actually indicate what are they feeling like with this idea of karma. Because if it's really hard, then you might just be stuck and not claiming authorship or ownership for what's going on.
Yeah. And like we say this, I know I've said this many times, people, just stop and breathe. Just put your hand on your heart and breathe. And people go, oh, I don't have time. What? You don't have time to spend 3 seconds and breathe in and out, 4 seconds, actually be aware of your breath. Oh, I've got too much to do. Mm-hmm. Well, then you might as well just bury yourself in a shallow grave, because that's where you're going to go straight away. Of course, that's my smart mouth tongue that happens. But people do say it's too hard. It's too hard. It's too hard. Yeah. I don't have time. Like the amount of people who say I don't have time, and I occasionally do that. Oh, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. And then I'm like, no, make time. Make time. If you have to stop, you have to stop. If you have to get some drink of water, drink some water. If you have to just stop and breathe and put your hand on your heart, I find, and breathe through your nose, out your mouth, is just the most simplest things to change everything that's going on, no matter what roller coaster you're sitting on. We've all got time for that. And it's easy. I don't have time. It's too hard. Like, it's not too hard. Just the breathing anything for 2-3 minutes or whatever it is.
Absolutely. And that thing about the breathing, it gets you right into the present moment. And oftentimes you find out that oh, it's too hard. Oh, I don't have enough time. That's just the mind chatter.
Oh,
when
totally.
You can
it's
focus
complete
deeply
BS.
on your breathing, it's kind of like, oh, there's a big story that's going on in there, and I don't have to listen to it.
A quick wee message before we get back to this episode. You can get access to a special gift Moira and Debz have put together for you. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift. When you sign up, you'll receive instant access to an inner peace kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift.
Throw that story out when you blow your nose.
Well, that's a nice visual. Blow your nose down.
Blow your nose out. But it is those stories. Oh my God, that's a podcast on its own. Stories. Actually, make a note of that, stories. But it is, and it can. So karma can affect you. If we're labeling it karma, it can affect you. It can, but you can change that at any time by stopping and breathing. Hand on your heart, stop, breathe, inhale, exhale. Everybody's got 5 seconds to deal with something. If you want to take longer, take longer. Like, notice yourself, because while you're sitting in that tornado chaos, or everything's happening to me at once, karma, and you're sitting in that negative thought or whatever, just stopping and breathing I guarantee will change you. I guarantee it will change your state quickly.
Absolutely.
When you start focusing on your breathing. Because it's done it to me. It's done it to me. So I know that for a fact.
But you know, the other thing in all of this is that sometimes we get stuck into a paradigm of this sucks. It always goes this way, or it's hard, or it's tough. Or
how many lessons am I supposed to have? 3 lessons. It's supposed to be. Why is it happening to me the 4th time? Because you didn't get the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th.
But to me, these instances could be a gift. Should we choose to do that? To go, oh, wait. I remember I scripted this. Everything that's happening is because I scripted it. I signed it up. This is for my highest and best good. then you can go in and say, well, what is here for me? There is always a gift in absolutely every situation, every episode, everything that we have, every scenario. But sometimes that's all you can hold on. You can only hold on to that until it becomes apparent, right?
Yeah.
Of the if you had some kind of recurring pattern or some kind of I don't know, chronic pain or headaches or whatever it is, it's to
when it's repeating over and over and over again.
Yeah. And so then when you become aware of the repetition of it, you can stop it and just say, okay, I need to just create a wee bit of space, a wee bit of distance for myself, and say, what is it about this repeating pattern is due to something I'm avoiding in myself, right? Then see what comes up.
The key word you said there was awareness or aware. And as soon as you're aware, so when you get that smack and you get that smack and you get that smack, those smacks get bigger and bigger. But as soon as you're aware, you can change the pattern. So recognize it as soon as you get that smack and don't ignore it. I was just talking to Moira earlier about this, and I said, oh yeah, something happened. And I just buried it and just gone, oh yeah, da. And now it's come back again. I'm like, oh man, I didn't do anything. I went, oh, I haven't got time for that. Or I didn't know why I said I haven't got time for it. I just parked it. But, now it's just like, oh, now I have to deal with it. Well, I don't have to, but I'm definitely going to.
Well, it's come up to ask for that. And so that's the thing. When we have compassion for ourselves, we can say, okay, interesting. I obviously neglected to sit in that. And do
that
what
space,
I
energy, feel. Yeah.
And so I think if nothing else for our listeners, I would really love to bust through this idea that karma is a negative thing.
I agree on that. And I was actually thinking, just as you said that, I was thinking the 4 agreements.
Yeah.
And what's the third or fourth one is
don't take anything personally.
Yeah, don't take anything personally. That's always a good one. What's the third one? Is that the third one?
I think that is the third one. Don't make assumptions. Is that the one you're thinking of?
No.
So there's be impeccable with your word. Don't make assumptions. Don't think things personally, and always do your best.
Always do your best.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the fourth one. Always do your best. So karma, if you always do your best from a heartfelt, not an a-hole state, if you always do your best, then there is, like, if you want to label karma as something bad, you will never get karma. If you were to say karma is just a word, by the way, everybody.
Yep.
But if you always do your best from your heart, there is karma. There is no such thing, karma. It's not going to come back and bite you in the bum. But karma is a word that we associate to negative.
Right.
Negative. And I like the way you've explained Dharma. Just dig into Dharma just a little bit more. Talk about that, because I'd really love people to not think about the word karma and replace it with Dharma.
So the idea of the thing that my teacher used to say a lot is that to blow karma, meaning get out that hamster wheel, you have to align or find and align with your Dharma. So to align with your Dharma, and there's different ways you can do it, looking at your Ayurvedic astrology chart, but it's also just to look at the themes. Where are you and what are you doing that brings you peace, that brings you balance, that brings you harmony, that brings you unconditional love, the kind of things that you can do regardless if you're getting paid for it or not. These
your spark, your joy, your magic, your glitter, your lifeline, your shoulders back.
Your little piece of magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that. And so therefore you see, and just like I can just see a big visual of that, is that's the higher learning. That's the higher level. It's like I've come home. gone that whole positive, negative experiences, and I'm not holding on to any of them because, and that's to your point too, is that people don't say, oh, look, that person just won $100,000. Oh, that's their karma.
Yeah.
You don't hear that, but technically is.
Yeah. Well, we don't, because a lot of people label karma as negative. It's interesting when you were talking about that. It's when it flows, and it's. I'm going to say the word easy. I'm not really an easy kind of girl. Well, I am. I'm not really. I don't really like the word easy that much. But it's when it flows and the complications come in, because everyone still has complications, but you don't see them as complications. You just see it as, oh, this is something easy. This is something I can deal with. This is a pathetic little glitch. Like, if you're going to give me a challenge, give me a big challenge in capitals. Like, don't give me this. This is and when you're in that flow and you're doing what you love, when you're truly doing what you love, you vibrate that, and those glitches or that shite that gets thrown at you is nothing. You don't even see it as that. And only when people go, God, that must have been hard to deal with, or that must have been a challenge, you're like, what, that? Oh, I didn't even see it as a challenge. You're like, oh, that's really odd. I didn't see it as a challenge. And it's just that different perception. And that's when you know when you're at your true soul's calling. That's when you know you're in flow, when shite gets thrown at you and it doesn't stick.
That's a good way of saying it, but it's also then that it's acknowledging that we live in polarity, so there is good and bad, right and wrong, according to us, but it's all just experience.
Well, you can't run from it. You definitely can't run from it. It's how you handle it.
That's right. And so that's what I was saying, that sometimes when stuff is heavier or not going the way you want it to, you know that you wouldn't be in that situation if you couldn't get through it, or if it wasn't for your best good, or if you didn't have the wherewithal to figure it out. But it's getting into that negative, sticky thinking that, oh my God, this is so horrible, it's so hard, it's so awful, and why does this kind of thing happen to me?
And that's also your thinking, but also other people's, it's our social influence. And when I talk about social influence, it's anybody who gives you their stuff, their energy, and you attach that. Oh, I couldn't do that. Oh, that would be hard. And you're like, oh, really? And then you start going, oh, yeah, it is hard. Yeah, it is hard. Yeah, actually, you're right. Yeah, I don't know if I can do this either. And it's that stuff that, well, that's just a podcast on its own, listening to others. But it's that stuff that gets thrown at us that we're dealing with as well.
Absolutely. And so that's that whole piece that it's really important to make sure that you are living inside your own energy bubble and not allowing the opinions or the attitudes outside, or ideas into yours. Because, and so to your point, that when we become really aware, appreciative, and acknowledging who we truly are at the core, it doesn't matter what anybody says. Other people's stuff is other people's stuff. It's nothing to do with you.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting thing. Yeah, see, that awareness, I'm just thinking that it's quite an interesting thing, is taking ownership, and taking ownership is a massive part. So people will say stuff to me and I'll just go, oh yeah, I can own that. Yeah, I do that. Yeah, I can see where I've done that. And I can move on from it. Mm-hmm. But if other people let it stick, this is, taking ownership. I had done my Friday morning Facebook Live, and so I was dressed up from the top half, hair, makeup, face, top half looking lovely, bottom half just in my comfies. And I went to into my pregnancy pants, because apparently the trousers I love wearing are my pregnancy pants, and they're clearly not pregnancy pants, I just have to say, but it's because there's no elastic around the waist. They're lovely and comfy. But anyway, that's enough about what I'm wearing. Actually, I've got them on today. Anyway, so going back to this, so I was dressed from the top half up, and I don't even know how this is going to link back in because I've sort of forgotten, but I was dressed immaculately and from the top half. And I went into a veggie shop, a veggie shop, a grocery shop just with veggies, and I bought something, and the lady goes, "Oh, you're very dressed up today." And I just looked at her and I said, "Oh," and she said, "Oh, you're very glam today." That's right, glam today. And I said, "Oh, thank you." And she said, "That wasn't a compliment."
Oh.
And I went, "Oh, I'll take it though. Thank you." And I smiled at her. And I got in the car and I didn't think anything. I was just grinning, going, "Wow, that's interesting. Someone said that." And I got in the car and I said to my partner, and I was like, and she said, "What's going on?" And I said, and she went, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" And I went, "Wow, she's got some real horror. She must be having a really bad day to say that to me." And then my partner was just like, "Yeah, but Deborah, you didn't take it on. You actually went back to her and you went, 'Oh, thank you.'" And then she said it wasn't a compliment. Like, she was very straight to the point. It wasn't. And I went, "Oh, well, I'm going to take it."
Well, of course you are.
I was like, well, I do feel actually quite good with what I've got on the top half. But it was interesting to hear somebody say that stuff and, say that stuff to me to burst my bubble. Or anything. And I clearly didn't, the poor wee woman, and didn't. I went, "Well, I'm going to take that." So she's having a bad day and she wanted to say that to someone to hurt someone or whatever.
Right.
Wasn't going to work. So then she's probably going to up her level to the next person who got her, who she was going to.
But that's a beautiful example of you being so comfortable where you're at that, thank you.
Right? I know, I was, thank you. And, and she said, it wasn't a compliment. And she shot that second part out, it wasn't a compliment, which I was really, and I was like, "Oh, well, I'll take it as one." Like, I was definitely taking that. Thank you. Definitely. But, it's interesting in our scenarios of how we react to people and how it comes about. So she must have been having a horror day to say that to somebody, to have that confidence to say that actually aloud. She looked lovely from what she looked like, from what I saw. I couldn't even tell you if she walked past me in the street. But, and it's interesting how I reacted instead of going, "Oh, but look at my bottom half," and trying to emphasize that. It's just that whole thing. So if she's clearly on her learning path of reacting towards people and having emotional charges around people, but I didn't take what the key I was just saying was, I was aware of her stuff and I didn't allow her stuff to be thrown at me and take it in. And I'm grateful it was me she said it to, because if it was somebody else who was having a bad day or something, it could have sent them down to that level of 10.
Yeah.
Rocking in the corner.
Yeah.
I'll take that,
But therefore, it's such a testament to how important it is for us to always be doing our stuff. Because who knows what was going on with her in her world, but she was making it other people's fault, or other people's issue. Trying to, anyway.
She must have been having a real bad day. Well, she's probably, I suspect the next person who she came across, she probably upped her level, or maybe what I gave her was enough for her to go, "Oh, calm your farm, love." I don't know, but that was. I hope she gets her karma. No, that's not. That's not how it goes. That's definitely not how it goes.
Oh, it's not how it goes. And that's really what we were trying to put across here, is that when somebody cuts you off in traffic or speaks meanly to you, to then go back into your mind and go, "Oh, I hope they get their comeuppance, or they get." That is not what karma is
Every
about.
dog has their day.
But it is always about, how does this make me feel about me? How does the situation make me feel about me? And coming back into the my energy bubble, my responsibility, nothing to do with anybody else. And that's the whole piece of how to move through this whole idea of karma.
And you can let people into your energy bubble, absolutely, but it's up to you to maintain them in your energy bubble.
Yeah, if it starts to get loud or contentious, you can say, "Thank you, please leave."
Yeah.
Yes. Well, this has been a good conversation. We always have such fun doing these conversations. So karma and how it affects our life. We hope you, dear listeners, have seen something in yourself, have got some clarity, got some insights. we'd love to hear your comments and insights on to what is karma and what is dharma also.
Yeah, can you let us know what your dharma is, people? Like if you feel something, just flick in there and let us know what you think your dharma is.
We'd love
like
to
I'd
hear
love
that.
to know what their calling is.
Absolutely. And then also we like to do our little check-in on a scale of 0 to 10. Where would you put yourself at now? She's at a 0.
I'd say a 0.
Yes, I'm at a 0 also.
How could you not be a 0 after that convo?
Absolutely. Well,
by jeepers, listeners, no expectations, but you better bloody be a 0. Don't take on my attachment. But if you're not, can you let us know? But yeah, no, I'm definitely a 0 after that.
Awesome. Well, dear listeners, it's an end of another deliciously motivating conversation. We hope this has served and uplifted you. And if you need any help or support, please let us know. We're here for you. Both of us are here for you.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for partaking in today. We appreciate it. And thanks for educating me on Dharma, Moira.
My pleasure.
Wow. See, she's just a little gem who just comes out with these little things. Thank you.
All right, dear listeners, we will catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye, Deb.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.